we're so happy that you're joining us here today. We are going through the COVID survival toolkit for parents. And I know that many of you are stuck at home with your kids in close quarters. And we just want to give some tips in different areas, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, to support our children. But today we're going to focus in on that spiritual aspect and have a very special guest with us here. Her name is Joanna. She is the children's director at Calvary Assembly of God in Hawaii. And before this, she was full-time as a children's coordinator in Singapore, but she moved to Hawaii and got married, and she's here now, and we're so happy that she's here with us. So let's dive right into the content. Joanna, how can we support our kids spiritually? What are some things we can do?
Yeah, number one, in my opinion, is to take it seriously, because more is taught. More is caught than taught. So even like whether we like it or not, our kids are watching us, our behavior, the way we talk. So the things that that's on my mind is how we treat our spouse. Like even behind closed doors, it speaks large volume to our kids. They are looking at us like the way we talk to our husband and our wives, the way we treat even our kids, and the way we treat people around us, and how we speak about people behind closed doors. You know, the things that we talk about when in their presence, when no one else hears, it really can impact their spiritual life a lot. And even our giving to God, I think we can really take it seriously, because as they watch how we give to God, it is how they also learn how to give to God themselves. Yeah. So the other thing, besides taking our walk with God seriously, like if you make a promise to God, like fulfill it. It's very important. Like the things that you, even like before meals, making the effort to pray together, it also sets an example for them to follow. Like, okay, it's serious to pray before, like to give thanks for food. And even like say outside, when we see someone homeless, someone that's in need of help, like for us as parents, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but for them to see, you know, the parents to step up to help someone, it's like, wow, this is what God, you know, having God in our lives look like. You know, I want to be like that. So
yeah. So could you say that like how the parents respond to certain situations around them, that makes a really big difference for the kids?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for rephrasing. So the other thing that I think about is take your kids seriously. So treat them like how you want to be treated. I think that's one of the things that God talks about a lot in the Bible. And even from the simple things, do you actually remember a time where a kid is desperately calling out to his or her parent, but the parents are so busy doing stuff, it's like, oh, you know, they just shove the kids away. This kind of situation can actually impact their identity, that they are not important, they're not valued. So they also it can impact them how they see God, like, you know, because we as like being a parent, like this is how they view God through our lives, you know, okay, I'm just gonna take it that I'm the parent, okay? Yeah. So so in this situation, I know we are all very busy, but taking the time to stop and acknowledge them and communicate clearly, like say, oh, sorry, I'm busy right now. I hear you, I see you, but you know, give me like 10 minutes. After I'm done with this, I will spend time with you. Something like that. Very simple, but it can really have very big impact on them, you know. So in Proverbs 22 verse 6, in International Children's Bible, it says that train a child how to live the right way, then even when he is old, he will still live that way. So in Greek, train actually is a verb, is educate, is chasten, is correct, is discipline, is an action word. It actually really means to do something. And that's why it's very important that we don't just talk. We have to show it by how we live. And that can really support them spiritually, because if, as I mentioned earlier, more is caught than taught, you know. And you know, other Bible versions actually talk about in this same verse, it talks about direct is to show. So besides these little things, acknowledging them, I think about discipline because in our times today, it's very easy for parents to give iPad, gadgets, games to our kids. Sometimes it's because we are like at our wits' ends, like we just want to keep them quiet, keep them from crying. But it's also very important to be firm and not just give in to their wants all the time. So parenting is not easy. I really think that it's a 24/7 times your remaining lifetime job, since the first day your child is born. But if you get the parenting foundations right, the road ahead will still be challenging because they will grow from, they will go through different stages of life. But once the foundation is right, as a in the way you teach them spiritually, in the examples you set for them in the spiritual sense, in your walk with God, it's gonna be easier down the road to manage this stuff, the challenges. So
Yeah, that's really good. I like that, especially the discipline part. We're not judging parents who put their kids on iPads because I've done that. I've been at my wit's end before, but I think your point is you don't want to default to, okay, you're not getting your way, so here's an iPad instead of, walking them through. And I think that's where you're going right now, right? You want to walk them through this process of discipline, walk them through this process of making sure that they're doing the right thing. That's what it means to train them up. I think that's a really, really good point there. Yeah.
So even like sparing the rod and spoil the child,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very, very crucial thing. Like in our days, I don't think we really, discipline our kids. So it's important to discipline them, but it's also important to restore them after the discipline, to like really speak their identity and really just reaffirm your love as a parent to them, that even though you have done something wrong, it doesn't change my love for you. And when we do that, it shows them like, oh, God is like that. That even when we messed up, God is still the father of second chances. So it's really important to do that, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, that's really good. And that segues right into our next part, that what if I've never supported my kids spiritually or emotionally before? I've never disciplined them or anything like that. Or do you have some practical steps or some simple things that they might be able to do?
I think I don't have like, okay, rather I have a big question that I want to ask the parents. Like, the question is, how serious am I about this? Many dreams that pan out in reality, it all started with that seriousness to want to do it. And that's why it came into existence, yeah. So I really want to challenge the parents to take time to think about, how serious am I to pray with my kids, pray for my kids, or just being an emotional support, because that will really be the starting point to how well it's gonna pan out in the future. Yeah. So the other thing that I was thinking about is how to be intentional. Like if be it wanting to be a support emotionally, spiritually, it's important in our busy days. Sit down, look at your schedule, and take it into prayer with God. Like really take it to God and say, God, this is my very busy life. What are some of the things that you want me to take out, so that I can, input time into my kids' life? So being intentional is very important because there's so many things influencing us, trying to steal trying to distract us and steal our time away from our kids and the things that really matter. So I would like to really challenge the parents to be intentional and just pray, really ask God for wisdom, because every parent, every kid is different, every family is different, every schedule is different. So I understand that, but God is still faithful. God is still He's all knowing. So taking your schedule, taking your kid into prayer is really the first thing that we ought to do as parents. And if you are clueless because of this COVID-19, your kids are stuck with you every day, pray. Take time to pray, like, God, I have not been serious before. We can be really honest before God. I have not been serious to nurture them emotionally and spiritually. But right now, I am serious. What should I do about it? And I believe that, like David, when King David didn't know what to do, he inquired of the Lord. He took time to ask the Lord what to do. So in the same way, I just want to encourage us to be like King David, inquire of the Lord. God, what should I do? This COVID-19, I don't know how to teach my kids. They are stuck with me, and I don't want it to be a wasted time. So ask the Lord, and I believe that God will give you the wisdom as parents on what to do.
That's really good. That's really good. Because if the parents aren't spiritually connected to God, then it will be difficult or even impossible to support their children spiritually, because they themselves don't have that spiritual connection with the Lord. To prioritize that first, and then to ask the Lord, how then? What is my next step? What do I do to support my child right now in this crazy season? This is some great stuff, Joanna. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy that you came and shared your thoughts with us on how to support our kids spiritually. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Check out some of the other videos on our COVID survival toolkit. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something.